So in this video, we're going over ellipses. Ellipses are, by definition, are the set of all points whose distance from two central locations always add up to a fixed value. Alright, so if you can imagine two circles on the end of this ellipse, okay? If you have one here and you have one over here, and then of course they're connected. If you were to take the center point of those two circles, those are the two central locations. All right. So now, say I picked this point on the circle. All right. If this was D1 and this was D2, all right. So the distance of that point from the distance of the point from this location and then from that location. Then say I picked another point over here. All right. So I have distance 3 and distance 4. Now, by definition of an ellipse, D1 plus D2 should equal D3 plus D4. That's what that means. All right? Regardless of what point I pick around here. All right, I can pick it here, I can pick it here, I can pick it here. If you draw a line from this location to the point and from this location to the point, regardless of where that point is, the sum of those two distances will always be the same. Alright? That's what it means by the set of all points whose distance from two central locations always add up to a fixed value. Alright? Now, what is the formula for an ellipse? Well, now you should have that chart. So you should know that the formula for an ellipse is x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Now, what exactly does all this mean? Well, a here is your x-axis radius. I'm going to draw a picture in a second. And y is, b squared is your y-axis radius. Alright, so if you were to have an ellipse, and as you can tell by the last page, I'm not that good at drawing ellipses. Right? If this was the center point of your ellipse, because of course h and k is the center point. Right? The distance from that center point up, that's your y-axis radius. It doesn't matter if it's horizontal or vertical. The distance from here straight up is your y-axis radius. And the horizontal distance, well, that's your x-axis radius. Alright, that's your x-axis radius. Now, you also have what's called a major and minor axis. Alright, this is A, this is B. Your major axis is the longer of your two, it's the longer of A and B. Alright, so here, since our x-axis in this drawing is longer, that means that this is our major axis. And since y is shorter, that is our minor axis. Alright, so you have your major and your minor axis. Your minor axis is just the longer of the two. That's all it is. It's just simply the longer of the two. Alright? Let's look at a problem. Alright, so our example. What is the center, major axis, minor axis, and x radius and y radius for the following ellipse? Spell that out. Alright, we have x minus 2 squared over 36 plus y plus 1 squared over 49 equals 1. Alright, so the first thing, let's find our center. Remember, our center point is simply HK. So H, just like the circles, H here, this is x minus 2, so that means H is positive 2. And y plus 1, and remember it's y minus k. So you have y minus negative 1. So our center is at 2, negative 1. Now I'm going to do actually the x radius and the y radius next. So the x radius and the y radius. Well, remember, this is your x radius, but it's the square root of this number. Alright, because this is a squared and we just want a. So square root of 36 is 6. Square root of 49 is 7. Alright, so that's our x and y radius. So now, which one's our major axis? Well, since y is longer, this is our major axis. Since 6 is smaller, it's our minor axis. Alright, and that's all there is to it. That's all there is to that. So, you just take your equation. Remember, this number here is a squared, and this is b squared. And then this number here is just a, and this number here is just b. So, if this is in the form of it's already been squared out, like in this case, it's not 6 squared, it's 36. You're going to have to take the square root of that, take the square root of that, and there you go. That's pretty much it. Alright. Alright, let's look at one more example. Again, we want the center, the x radius, the y radius, and then to know which one is the major and minor axis. So here's your formula. We have plus 4 squared over 3 squared plus y minus 3.5 squared over 5.5 squared equals 1. Alright, so this one's pretty simple. Our center, well, take a moment, pause the video, see if you can figure it out. Alright, so our center, remember, you basically take the opposites of these values, so it's negative 4 and 3.5. Our x radius, now here since it's 3 squared, and we know this is a squared, since that means 3 is a, so it's just 3. Over there, 5.5. So this is our major, and this is our minor axis, because since 5.5 is bigger than 3, that's our major, and since 3 is smaller, that is our minor. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Feel free to watch this video as many times as you need to, and make sure when you come to class tomorrow, you're ready to work some problems. See you tomorrow.